Hey all, this is my recap of Ladies of London, Season 1, Episode 5, To the Manor Born. And we're going to the country. So Julie, who's a friend of the ladies, has invited all the ladies out to her in-laws' family estate. And we get to see everyone kind of get there, the whole trip, and kind of the beginning of people leaving. So Caroline brings Luke, her makeup artist, who we only see right then, and then at the very end of the episode, he hangs out in the hotel the rest of the time. Annabelle and Caprice go together. We see Annabelle's house, which is beautiful. But it's more classic than I thought. I would have thought she'd be super like ultra modern and stuff, but she's a very classic, beautiful house. And then the rest of the gals travel together, and everyone's talking about the 4th of July party and the fight and all that stuff. And we hear about Noelle and Scot. The move in together has been delayed a little bit, and she's super kind of pissed and bummed, but at the same time, you know, they say, hey, maybe he just wants it to be perfect before you move in. So that's a little on shaky ground. We'll have to see where that goes. Now they arrive at Mapperton Gardens, and it's gorgeous, and you can tour the grounds when you're there. So someone go and take pictures and show them to me. I'm sure they're lovely. Hopefully I'll make it one day. Now Caprice is just shocked that Caroline is not more excited to see her. Now, I don't know why she's so shocked. She's been talking about it in interviews this whole time. She is still upset about the baby shower. So, you know, she got on her about, you know, not sticking up for Annabelle. So I'm not really sure why she was surprised, but so be it. Now, mother-in-law gives them a tour of the gardens, and at some point it looks like Caroline and Annabelle kind of break off and have a little discussion, but it's like they're kind of fighting about their fights with other people. So it's kind of weird. But they've definitely established that, like, Juliet and Caroline are here, Annabelle and Caprice are over here, and there's, like, a lot of fights going on. There's a 4th of July fight, there's the baby shower fight, there's the not sticking up for Annabelle fight. There's quite a bit going on right there. And we don't really know where Noelle or Marissa fall in any of this mess, because it doesn't really involve them, and they've kind of stayed out of it. Now, they go the tour of the gardens, they do some skeet shooting, they have some little, you know, sandwiches and stuff. And when they're having the sandwiches, someone asks, what are they going to have for dinner? And Julie says venison. And Juliet's like, not going to eat Bambi. So it's kind of rude to have handled it that way, so publicly, they make such a big deal. I wouldn't serve someone meat that they didn't like, but it's not like they did it knowing that she wasn't going to like it. The meal might have already been cooked. It wasn't really Julie's house. There's kind of a lot of other stuff going on. Now, for a second, I'm going to get up from my soapbox. If you are a vegetarian or you don't eat red meat, then this is not for you. But if you do eat red meat, especially beef, thank you, because we're cattle ranchers. Thank you for eating beef. If you do eat beef, you should really consider game meat. It's humanely harvested. It is antibiotic free. It is free range. It lives to a relatively old age, depending on, you know, the particular animal. It's very lean, very healthy. So I would encourage people. I personally don't like venison based solely on the taste. I just find it a little musty and dusty. If I had been invited, I would have sucked it up. I would have eaten as much as I could. I would have smiled, said how beautiful and how wonderful it was. Thank you so much for your generosity. And I don't think I can eat anymore. That's how I would have handled it. But I am clearly not the same person as Juliet. So anyway, try game meat. So getting up off my soapbox, and we'll move on. Anyway, we get to dinner, and they serve the appetizers, which have some kind of seafood on it, and Noelle's like, I'm deathly allergic to seafood. Now, that's something she really should have shared when she accepted the invitation. It's very embarrassing for a host to provide food that someone is deathly allergic to. So, kind of a little misstep on her part. And after the appetizer, Juliet's like, is it rude for me to go get a smoke? And Caroline's like, yes, it is rude, but I want one too. So they kind of make a little fake excuse and then go out together to smoke. And then Noelle joins them, and they have a long talk and all this stuff. And the host did notice that everyone disappeared. So it was kind of a misstep. There seemed to be quite a few missteps this particular trip in terms of being rude to people. But I don't know that I've seen a Bravo show where people have really been polite all the time. Anyway, they come back. The main meal is served, and it's venison. And Juliet is so mad that Julie served her venison. Once again, I don't know that Julie had any control over that. You know, it was her in-laws' meal. I don't know. I'm not really that upset with Julie. It just didn't really occur to me that it was her fault, but so be it. Juliet's offended. Let's see, after dinner, at some point Juliet and Annabelle kind of pull aside to discuss the 4th of July fight. I didn't, so they talk and they kind of agree to, okay, we'll hug, we'll make up, we'll be fine. Now, at this point, everyone leaves. They're going to be leaving to go home in the morning. Annabelle stays because she's staying there, and Caprice is just going to stay for about 20 minutes. So we see all the rest of the girls, and then we find Luke, the makeup artist, back at the hotel, all sit and talk, and then Caprice, Julie, and Annabelle talk. Now, this fight, this discussion, the 4th of July fight, and the discussion about it between Annabelle and Juliet, they each discuss. I kind of felt like their two recollections of what happened were a little bit different, and I didn't even really get a good handle on kind of what happened. I'm just kind of over it. I kind of felt like Annabelle was rude, but she's like, oh, I can't handle this, and left. But Juliet definitely, like, going out and screaming in the street was bad. So all around, just kind of like not interested. But what was interesting to me was, I guess, Julie and Annabelle are leaving really early. I think it was Julie and Annabelle. I got a little confused on who was leaving early. And Caprice wants to hurry up and get home. So she decides that instead of going back with the other ladies, and since Caroline's mad at her anyway, she's going to sneak out. Come on, Caprice. I mean, I feel like everyone's handling things in the worst possible way. Like, a better way to handle that is to call them and say, hey, I've decided I can get a ride back earlier. I just wanted to let you guys know, or text them. I'm going to be going back earlier. Thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. And just kind of leave it at that. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. It looks like it's going to be a pretty dramatic, you know, circumstance. But when you kind of, if you have plans to go back with people and then you guys kind of ditch them, it's not unexpected that people are going to be a little upset. So tons happened this episode. I should probably go rewatch it, but hit me over in the comments with your thoughts.